Am I the asshole for taking my kids back home with me from my parents' house after they violated the one simple rule I gave them? We shall see. In March of 2022, my parents reached out to me saying that they wanted to meet my daughters, Angela and Julianne, fake names, both 9 IVF twins. I agreed to it on the condition that I didn't want them to meet my aunt's family, because growing up with them, they were incredibly abusive and neglectful to me when I had lived with them. We're talking about some really abusive things, physical and emotional. I'll give you one example. In 97, my aunt took my brother's asthma inhaler and wouldn't give it back to him because he wouldn't share his cookies with her daughter. We're talking about a woman who at the time was in her mid-late 20s doing this to a 7-year-old boy. I have my lawyer write up a contract. It wasn't legally binding, it was entirely symbolic, but it was made to clear terms. I'll fly with them over from Seattle to Albuquerque during spring break and summer break, as long as these people are not introduced to them or anywhere near the property under any circumstance. I reserve the right to never bring my kids back if you violate this one rule. She signed it and planned the trip. I tell my daughters who these people are, why I don't like them, and to tell me if they meet them. I treat my kids like they can understand things if they have any questions. I'll try and explain to them the best in my abilities. Well, we make the flight down there and I head to their home. We're there for about 2 hours where I hear the doorbell go off. Well, guess who it is? My aunt's family, and they're standing around laughing, pretending like I don't like them. And we've always gotten along. I look at my mom and say, "Why did you invite them?" She says, "Well, they're family. Me. They're your family. Angela and Julianne, we're going home." The girls hadn't unpacked their things yet, so they go and get them. I grab my belongings and start making my way out, with my mom breaking down and begging me not to go, trying to guilt me, saying, "Really, you actually meant it? I can't believe you." Meanwhile, my aunt and her family default start making judgmental comments saying that I'm ungrateful, blah, blah, blah. If you dealt with abusive people, you know they're not particularly original and always default to victimization. Since then, I haven't responded to their messages and phone calls. I blocked them and instructed my kids to block them anywhere they could, to which they have been compliant. Not before asking me for the latest new jeans merch, of course. My brother came by my house 2 weeks ago and he spoke to me very calmly and was trying to get me to budge. I told him I gave them one rule and they signed on it. They violated within first 2 hours of us being there. It wasn't just that. It's that they showed me that they don't respect me, that they care more about my aunt's family and they did my rules, which kind of shows how much they care about my kids if they're completely willing to violate it not even 2 hours upon my arriving. I don't know what it is. My mom seemed to have forgiven or not cared enough about what we endured with these people to where she would just assume I'm bluffing when I make the rules clear to her. Listen, your mom showed you who she is. Believe it. I'm the type of person, I'm okay with going no contact with people, including mothers and fathers. I'm perfectly okay with going no contact. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. She's a mother and she's in her mind, this is my house and I do what I want in my house. You're right. You sure can. And I could sure exit stage left with my family. He gave her one rule. He gave her one boundary. These people have traumatized me and violated me and my brother and our family in at so many different times in our life growing up, and the trauma is so in my frontal lobe that I do not want them around my kids. I don't even want them introduced to my kids. You actually go and sign a document saying that you would not have these people around your kids. I'm glad she showed you her true colors within the 2 hours you were there, so you didn't have to travel back and leave the kids there, do all that yada yada. She showed you her true colors within the 2 hours and then gonna look at you and says, "You really meant that?" Nah, I did. I'm happy for you sticking to your boundaries and protecting your children, because people like that you do not need to have in your life. She doesn't respect you. She doesn't respect your boundaries. She doesn't respect your children. Like you said, she seemed to forget how those people treated you. People don't understand that trauma that people experience sometimes as kids. They grow up and they vow to themselves that they would never, ever have their kids go through that same trauma that they went through growing up. And here you are telling your mom, you know the trauma that I've been through, that our family has been through with them. And it's they're family. Nah, you're good. They're your family, so you deal with them. I'm out. I appreciate you for sticking to your boundary and protecting your kids. She'll cry about it. She better get over it. Because when I tell you that would have been the last time she saw me or my kids, ever. Ever. Because me, I'm the type of person, Lord forgive me, I hold grudges. I do. They say don't hold a grudge. It's not even say I hold a grudge. I'm the type of person, you do me wrong, that's it. I basically X you out of my life. So it's not like I'm holding on to it. You don't exist to me anymore. And that's it. That's how I see it. So until something could change and I could be persuaded or swayed in a certain type of way, no contact. Have a good life.